Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a track from an act named Anastasia Elliot, titled Masquerade. And if we switch over to here, we have the track on the screen here. We're going to be listening through Masquerade from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do this. First impression with Anastasia. Oh, interesting synth part melody with some kind of stuttery edits. Pianos and vocals. Got that kind of... What kind of vocal vibe is this? Down, the bass and drums coming in like that. Great layering. Lots of interesting things going on. Nice switching up the triplets in that transition there from the drums. Very tight performance so far. Oh, fantastic vocals, actually great technique. Great transition from head voice to from chest voice to head voice like that. Compelling use of that kind of masquerade, the end of it, to form an entire vocal melody like off of it is kind of dope. And then a little trill there was kind of just, it's kind of there's just a lot to appreciate. There's a lot to appreciate off the bat. Like, I know I don't mean to talk over it, it's just, I feel as if I was to stop every time I heard something cool, sure that the review would be like 20 minutes long, right? Kind of getting a feel for what the song is about as we go along, you know. I'm trying to, even though I'm watching a music video and there's imagery there, I'm trying to sort of take what I can from the music, because I'm not as knowledgeable about sort of video production as I am about audio. You know, clear, distinct sort of verse, bridge, and chorus parts here, you know. Seamless transitions between them. It's nice to have that bass cut out in this build section. Oh, nice little bit of extra piano layering here on the right side. Yeah, seamless vibrato there, like, it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful vocal performance, and I love these kind of edgy synths and bass parts, and that offbeat oscillation of those synths is fantastic, you know. It's got a great pulse to it, great flow there, chord no groove. I never know what we're going to get next. And how it's panning, it's not just the extra performance, it's the production value as well, you know, like how it's going around the headphones like that. What you been hiding? We've got heavy distortion on his vocals as well. The studio side of things has been very, very busy. And just this piano concept here, just layer on top a little bit of extra complexity to it, just to spice it up from what we had initially there. Doubling that speed contrasts, again, well with that chord no groove on the percussion. With some eighth note fills in the toms. Beautiful guitar harmonies, those leads on the sides. And these additional vocal, like, there's so much to appreciate and enjoy from this. It's really refreshing. And we're just done. We're getting all twisted up and fragmented digitally. Interesting choice here. Yeah, I mean, like, what else do you get from that? Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track, Masquerade by Anastasia Elliot. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that. Solid first impression. What do I think this track is about? Again, disregarding the visual elements, I think this track was about trying to get underneath someone's skin, trying to sort of like understand and comprehend that person, maybe physically, you know, but also psychologically as well. I trying to get in their head and understand the thought process and everything like that, really sort of connecting them, whether on an intimate basis or not. And like the dance, that's all around that, like people wearing masks, like they're at a masquerade and trying to get behind that and sort of trying to figure out what's real. That's my interpretation of what this track is about. I'm outside of the what the song is about, and there's probably more nuance to that I'm not sort of like that I may have missed. You know, this is a lot to take in. The actual vocal performance itself is absolutely stunning. I'd say it's one of the highlights of the track there. There's so much variety to it, sensational differences in approach, you know. Hearing those verses, we've got a little bit more pace to it, more pep to it, taking it down a step in that bridge, going back for that fullness of that chest voice, and then going with that A kind of sound and Masquerade part, you know, and turning that into more of an instrument with the synth oscillation and those higher registers, little whistles upwards. You know, it's just cool stuff, man. Like, honestly, like, we outdone ourselves here. It's great to have that range as a vocalist and to know that Anastasia can do that kind of stuff. You know, she's compelling as a singer. You want to hear more of her voice. She's got great color and texture to it. And the harmonies that came in later on, those later hooks as well, were absolutely sublime. And it's not just that, it's the production done to the vocals. We had the distortion and grit in the interlude sections and stuff like that. There's just, there's an inordinate amount of sass going on throughout this track, and I love the attitude. And it makes a lot of sense for what we're singing about. It's really cool, really competent, authentic vocal performance from someone who clearly is comfortable with the microphone and clearly has a future if she continues to keep it up. The structure of this track, I think, again, with that contemporary sort of verse, bridge chorus structure with an interlude and like a little solo section, a refrain back to the original part with those harmonized guitars there's so much care taken with this track. It was 3 minutes 52 and it just feels like we were absolutely spoiled. There was not a single bit of filler within it. The main theme and the hook, that Masquerade, how it kind of moves upwards and kind of pulsates, and it's like an earworm writhing through your brain. It's one of the catchiest tracks I've heard all year. It's I think it's partly because it's unusual in the way we voice ourselves during the hook. It's more like of a sound rather than a word, but also there's legitimately like, I got nothing but love for the fact that we didn't just have that same chord progression the entire time. We had separate concepts for the bridge, the verses, and the chorus. So therefore, the listener never took for granted that one concept going the whole way through. It wasn't just that though. It was like the arrangement and performance there, like with the drums, the piano parts, the bass, guitars, and all the other synth elements, and all the other little bits of foley, and just it's just gorgeous, man. Like, honestly, especially the harmonized guitars near the end. That kind of grainy, distorted kind of stuff going on in the choruses with those synths and the oscillations there. The bass sounds nice and full of moving with those root notes. The drums, there's so much range with those, not only the fills but also the chord note grooves kept simple when it mattered. And it's honestly like really strong start. There wasn't a note out of place. I liked the fact that we didn't just stick with one way of playing the instruments either. We gave them voicing when we needed to, like a little bit more oomph. And when we had the vocals come back in, like at the later half of the interlude, with the guitars went wide there to sort of make space for that. Honestly, like it's the production is another star of the show. I genuinely feel as if the recording, mixing, mastering has absolutely been smashed out of the park. The actual quality of the recording, the vocals was sensational. There's a nice amount of compression, like you can hear her breathing and stuff like that, but it was never overwhelming, and it sounds nice and crisp and commercial grade. Like, this is ready for release. The EQing and filtering and effects change on the various instruments are absolutely stunning. There's nice glowing of the different elements within the mix. Lots of cool stuff happening in the stereo field, as well as in the frequency spectrum. Like, nothing ever felt sort of super resonant or uncomfortable. The limiting compression on the master chant itself is diabolically good. And all in all, I think this is a fantastic opportunity to listen to a musician who's showing a lot of promise. But effectively, this is my review of Masquerade by Anastasia Elliot. Hopefully you did. If you did, please do go show Anastasia some love via various social medias and her YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.